Okay, welcome along everybody to this watch along with the Irish women's ultimate team of the Ireland versus Finland quarter-final from the European Ultimate Championship in 2019. With us today we have coach Ian French and player Fiona Murna.
Hello.
We have Anya Gilheany.
Hi.
We have Michelle Leahy.
Hi.
We have Jessica Chambers.
Hello.
And we have Lulu Boyd.
Hello.
So we're going to see it and we're going to watch along with the game against Finland, and the girls are going to let you know their opinions on the game as we go through it.
How are you getting on? We're here in the women's division. It is bracket play. We have Ireland taking on Finland.
Right, so this is our quarterfinal. First time Irish women's team ever got to quarterfinal stage in Euros. Don't know who anyone played for women's teams at Euros before. Is it just Lulu?
Was it just me?
Hamer.
Yeah.
Lulu.
Brilliant. Yes, we played these girls 4 years prior and managed to beat them. I think we were the only team at EUC that ended up beating the Finnish women's team.
Yeah, they
ended up winning, against Switzerland, who we happened to play in the final of EUC. Yeah. Oh, like completely full circle. Like the women's ultimate in Ireland is just completely different.
Massive game.
Huge. So yeah, we played Finland twice already this season as well.
I think you're giving a little bit away.
Only you want to tell us how we got on in those games?
Anyway, go watch it.
Yeah, so we played them at a stressful windmill because after weather things, the games ended up being shortened and very little time in between games. So we were all a bit stressed. In the first game, we did quite well against them, I think. We only turned them once and we turned very few times, and it came to Universe and they ended up taking the win. That game was punctuated by a few calls and discussions between the two teams. A lot of the calls, both teams know the rules quite well, but the teams' interpretations of the rules are sometimes quite different. So that's where we ended up having a lot of discussions.
Yeah.
We ended up playing them in the first game of EUC on the first day, which again was a really, really tight game. I think we got a lot more turns against them that time, but probably an equal number of calls, despite good discussions with the Spirit Captain before about how we wanted the game to go, and they ended up taking that game on Universe as well. So I think coming into this game, I think the team knew that we had huge potential to win, but we were going to need to put in a lot to make sure that we could take the win. And I think I kind of prepped everybody on just play the game like it's a new game, but don't go too far into the discussions, just contest things if we need to, and we'll just like play it out and don't get too riled up about any calls or any getting bothered by discussions going on for a long time. So I guess that's kind of our nice history with the team.
And what did you talk to their Spirit Captain about before this game?
I feel like we've been
I think what we were just discussing was being calm in discussions and listening to each other's points was the main thing. I think because we were disagreeing on interpretations of the rules, sometimes we just weren't listening to the other person's point of view. So we just said, let's just calm it down. The Spirit Captains will try to come in early as possible and resolve the discussion per discussion, kind of. Which shows in this game because there are a few calls and they do get resolved on field quite well, I think. None of the calls on field go on for very long. Well, they do go on for a bit long, but not too long.
There's one.
Pretty much all the women on this team.
Yeah, we'll come to it all right. I think my memory of the first game against Finland, I have two memories. One is like after the game with the team because we just lost, obviously. And, but I think it's kind of weird. We lost a few games this tournament. Everyone was always kind of a little bit upbeat after them. But I just remember saying in the Spurs after the game. So in the first game we lost on Universe, but we had the disc literally on the goal line to win. Fiona loved a little pop little lefty backhand pop to Sarah.
Quarterback.
So we just turned over on that, and then they managed to convert full field. And as Ben was saying, like, if we have the disc on the goal line to beat Finland or to beat any team in this tournament, like 99 times out of 100, that's a win. We'll take that every single time. But the other thing I remember was just so in Windmill, as Owen said, we got one turnover off Finland all game. It was a shortened game, it was only 15 minutes, but they played really, really clean. And we just didn't get turnovers off them.
Clean offensive hold.
Yeah, we got one all game. That was our O-line getting the disc back. Not our D-line. Our D-line would get a turn. But in the first game in this tournament, we changed our defense to kind of a defense we never played or practiced. And it worked really well. We got a load of turns off them. We just tried, and at this point, didn't work out too great. We played a little more as the game goes on. We weren't very good at converting our breaks. We converted one break in about 10 or 12 turnovers in that game. I'm not sure, Michelle, if you remember, you were obviously picking up the disc a lot in those situations.
Yeah, I think what I remember at the first game was like we were stressed coming into this tournament because we had struggled at Windmill to get, like, not to get turns, but to convert them. So I think everyone kind of had it. Well, I definitely had it in the back of my mind, and I know a lot of people did that. Like, we need to be able to convert them. So even converting one was like, okay, we can do it. We just need to do more of it. So I think like it was a boost. Obviously, it would have been nice to win that, but I think we all felt like we were good enough that we could have won that game. I think that was enough for the first game.
Able to score.
I remember the last point of the first game played at Euros against Finland, which added to the kind of spirit controversy that we had then.
Gets a good read on this, gets up early, bounces out of her hands.
Because I actually caught the goal initially, and then I threw it away when we actually got this back. But basically, a player came into my running path and tripped me, and I got up and recovered and still chased down the hook and managed to catch it. But she said that I actually ran into her. Again, interpretation of the rules, I would still stand by that she came across into my path, but that was the sort of interpretation of things that was going on.
If I remember, she tipped her heels and then said you ran into her, which is strange one.
Yeah, it was really strange. And not on camera, so nobody else see it.
CF back in 2017, and that was an unfortunate drop.
Obviously, we played each other a lot, so this is a bit of a tactical battle as well. So we played 2-5 a lot in this tournament.
Who was actually wearing golfing gloves. You can see her with the white gloves in her hand. Doesn't play any golf.
And our open side cutters, and Finland responded in this game by playing a forced middle a lot of the time, really trying to compress the play. So first point we scored, okay, a little bit like not perfect efficiency, but held on to this.
Across the field,
easy enough. Had our first turn here on a drop.
That's a great leap on her.
Yeah, I'll probably talk about. There's a few drops in this game. Probably talk about why. Why are there so many drops?
It was hot.
It was hot.
The turns from both teams
I think the temperature was around at least 35, if not higher. And then the feels like factor on an AstroTurf pitch at 3:30 in the afternoon probably brought it above 40, really.
The heat just
above and
radiates.
below. Because it just hits off the Astro back into you, so double whammy.
Been using all tournament to keep,
and it's hard to know whether the wind is helpful or not because it's a warm wind, so it actually dehydrates you really quickly, whereas if it was just a dead heat you might be able to keep some of your moisture a bit, but because it's just a warm wind blowing into your face, it isn't necessarily very helpful.
It's better though, I felt, than because it's a dry heat. It's not like a humid heat. Like walk in Ohio was disgusting. Like you couldn't, like even in the shade, you couldn't cool down. Whereas here, I think we were very smart in between games, like making sure to stay in the shade all the time and properly hydrate and stuff. So we were able to recover quite well, but yeah, it was just impossible.
The umbrellas from the mixed team were very helpful.
Looks like a bit of a zone.
Yeah, as you can see from the picture here, there's a little bit of shade in that stand. No shade on the near side of the pitch, no shade in the back, no shade on the other stand. So there's a tiny patch of sand with the spectators are using, fair enough. It's also not cold or cool remotely in the shade. It's just less like you're going to die if you stand.
Yeah, like you can leave both your feet on the ground and they're not burning.
It was on concrete as well, which made a big difference.
something I said before, but she's someone I'd love
our
to
first,
see on the Eurostars.
just I won't say first adjustment, but we kind of knew what defense, because we played Finland twice, we kind of knew what defenses.
And now a nice
Honey.
Or FSU zone is one of them. And a great D from Jane.
Great one, Jane.
University of Limerick. Now playing with
club. This time we were talking about the difficulty of converting from D to O sometimes.
Claire Pugh.
Not helping this game by it being really hot. So by the time you've got turnover, you are going to be wrecked.
You're challenged more mentally in this team than any other game.
Comes out of the hands.
Yeah.
Very close to the double happiness there.
Yeah, that's another uncharacteristic drop.
Yeah, very much so.
I guess the mental challenge is just getting over the heat, getting over it being the second game of the day, getting over it being a quarterfinal.
Yeah.
And then playing a team that you've lost to twice. And them knowing what you're going to do and trying to get over that, and then it being a team that you've had like contentious discussions with as well. So it's just kind of all of the things to try and mentally get over and just play the game that's in front of you, which can be quite difficult.
I think definitely, speaking for myself, but I think as well for quite a few of the other girls, like they were very much up for the challenge of trying to scalp Finland, because we had been unsuccessful so many times before, and we'd been so close so many times before that I think we were really gunning for them here, and it probably was just the perfect timing for us meeting them here in the quarterfinal.
Yeah, we try to talk about how good Finland are. Like, it's a really tough quarterfinal matchup.
Totally.
Ourselves in the season. Finland won Euros in 2015. We've already said that. Good few their strong players. And that team are still active here. Atletico, I think, their club team, won Club Euros in 2018, I'm going to say, beating Iceni in the final. And they had two teams go to World Clubs in US, which, from our perspective, like two teams being able to just go to a tournament in the States is crazy enough, let alone two decent teams.
What's the population size of Finland?
Maybe looking to isolate.
We're asking facts I don't have here.
Because I mean, I think they're quite a small nation, a bit like ourselves, and that's amazing.
That definitely seems like a play Ireland drew up, as something they were expecting.
This is a nice boost. And talking about mental challenges, it's nice to go and break up very early in the game like this. So second chance on D, and the score is wrong on the screen. It's 4-1. No, 3-1.
They know what they're going to do. As we see that uncharacteristic drop from Essie Inkinen.
5.5 million, according to Google, is the Finland population.
And they're also probably struggling just as much as us in the heat as well.
Yeah, she's a fantastic thrower. And
cold
there's cold in Finland a lot of the time.
It's a bit cold.
Stereotyping there.
With some exceptional throws against
this is our second game on this pitch.
Our first one was unreal.
Game on this pitch. Second time on the stream as well. If anyone hasn't watched it, you should probably go look up Ireland versus Ukraine EUC 2019.
And then not watch it.
Germany are out after losing.
Yeah, so
it was
a different game. Why was it different, Jess?
We were just a bit tactical with our how we played. I don't know, you could probably throw a better light on that, coach.
Yeah, so I guess, we've been talking this first time Irish women's team's been in the quarterfinals of Euros. This is our working perfectly. This is exactly what we want, playing a fourth middle, trying to get them to throw their hooks, which they do like throwing, into traffic, and Jess and Claire both there. And Claire's a little celebration. But yeah, we played Ukraine in this pitch, second game of the tournament, just after we lost to Finland actually. But we've done a bit of skating in Ukraine. We knew this one of their first times playing in international tournament. So they're kind of where Ireland were back when I started playing. So we knew we probably were going to be able to beat them. So we kind of didn't want to show our hands to teams that wanted to scout us. We knew the game was going to be recorded and the footage is going to be available. So we just played a few. Didn't play our O&D lines the way we normally do. Didn't play our zones so people couldn't have a look at them. Played our horizontal, which was kind of giving the game away. We were going to end up doing that anyway. So partly to throw us getting out, partly because we didn't have a very we didn't have a great first game in terms of our D-line's offense. So one of the priorities was to try and get as many people this time as possible. So rather than calling like the same lines we normally call, we rested some players and just try to give more people time on the disc and get into the flow of the tournament, which was frustrating at the time because it wasn't very clean. But I think it benefited us in the later games because everyone had those touches of the disc and everyone had some time running the offense.
Yeah.
That was just a good example there. Gronia catches a interception D, and the other girl could have had a leg to stand on and calling a foul, and they end up having quite a good just.
And it has to be said, I watched the opening game for these teams against each other, and the spirit wasn't the May West. I mean that from both teams. I don't think either team was worse than the other, but hope that game doesn't spill over into this game.
Yeah, both teams reporting back that they were a bit frustrated with the spirit from the other team, but also that they wanted future
specifically got there right before the other person, or who initiated contact, who didn't, and you do just have to decide that amongst yourselves how fair or the fairest solution I think is the right call, like going against this.
Yeah. I suppose it's always tricky because you're not technically supposed to make any contact, but then there is the rule of incidental contact, and how do you decide what is incidental and what actually impacted your ability to catch the disc. So in that instance, the player decided that she wouldn't have gotten there, and she didn't mind the contact that Gronia ended up having.
She get her hands on that? Didn't think she
and then Emily ended up catching a great.
Emily O'Brien.
So good.
Great goal.
Kind of junior on this team. Hasn't
it's a great box out, and it's a great stall line hook if you're going to throw one. She gets it in the air and in a catchable place for people.
No, it was definitely a strong
rather than just throwing it as far as she can. Or
great job of
way too bladey as well, and this is possible time with the catch.
Above the Finnish defender.
But you get a cheeky break out of it. A bit lucky.
Very
strong. We were saying the wind picks up as the game goes on, so that throw was into a bit of wind.
A few times
just gets a bit stronger as the game goes on.
Strong at marking out from the Finnish, very strong at marking out the Irish reset defenders. But if you've got no reset,
the spray guns were absolutely essential. I actually don't know what I would have done without those in between
I would assume
in between points.
Timeout is coming.
No, not at all.
Both teams trying to shade themselves a little bit from the sun where they can, but not much shade available on pitch.
First time out, Finland obviously a bit
so teams will have to stay
shaken.
out in the sun
It's going 4-1 up.
And reset themselves.
So the score is 4-1.
We don't go into the shade, which maybe it was the wrong call. But like I was saying, the near stand to us didn't actually have any usable shade. So we would have to go away to the far stand. One of our key planks of our strategy was to use the shade whenever possible at all timeouts. A lot easier on the stadium pitch when there's tons of shade nearby. Pretty hard here. But at this point, how is everyone feeling? A bit more relaxed now. We're 4-1 up in the quarterfinal.
Definitely. D are doing their job. Like, offense don't have to do anything. It's great.
I don't think I knew what the score was at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think there was minimal going on in my brain, except for it's just staying as cool as possible.
I think it really helped for later on in the game because you're like, you know, you can get a few breaks in a row.
Yeah.
What we kind of need to do, spoiler alert. So that's a real confidence boost when the points, every point you can play for. Whereas before we were saying the D-line couldn't get turns on them.
Yeah.
So it's a different game now, totally.
100%. Yeah.
Because we went from. There you go, Michelle.
Well, I just had so much faith in the O-line. I was like, cool. Yeah, we did too. That'll do.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think dead on, like, it's a confidence boost we probably needed to start the game because I was saying the windmill we played them just couldn't get any turns at all. Then we played them earlier in the tournament, got loads of turns but couldn't convert anything.
2 breaks off this Finnish team, they'll be happy with that.
So on the second and third chances to be able to convert in this game was huge. Like, then we knew because someone said like, okay, we can do it. Like, we can get turns and we also convert them. Even though it's not going to be easy. More FSU.
And I guess the other 2 games you played against Finland, it had been quite still weather. I don't think it was very windy, and I think in general the wind benefited us a lot more, or we dealt with the wind a lot better than other teams, considering I think what all of our training weekends were in over 30-kilometer winds. So I think the wind, where it might have made other teams nervous, it didn't phase us at all. And I used to just look forward to the downwind points. Like, nothing better than standing with the wind behind your back if Fiona going deep. So
now Vestman again.
This is one of our kind of two defenses we mostly play in this game. So one of the others we've seen already, getting a couple turns, kind of FME, fronty thing, try and make them hook into traffic. And then this is the opposite zone. We're trying to put pressure on. So we know like, the Finland are really good holding onto this, and they want to hold onto it against zones. I think one thing that went wrong in the windmill game was we had about a 20-minute break before we played Finland, and someone came up to me and said Finland just being beaten by someone in another game, by the other team playing a zone. So we came out with our zones against Finland, and they were probably very grateful to just be able to walk around instead of running hard at that stage of the tournament. But we did get to figure out which of our zones were good, because we had 3 zones in the tournament. The other 2 we'd already played against Finland, they destroyed them with their style of play. This is the only one they kind of struggled with, so this is what we stuck with. Which means a lot of running from the shell.
Would you call it running?
Herding.
Moving. A lot of moving.
Herding.
Felt like running.
You're running there, Michelle. Look at you go.
Yeah, look at me go.
Yeah.
You can see little bursts of energy in the D line.
Yeah.
There's a certain
You just have to decide when you need to.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Was that an exact reenactment of the noise you made as that?
Starting to tire a tiny bit.
There was definitely a lot of noise being made in this game anyway.
They're not active, they're just kind of strolling around the place.
I think this point, and a couple of us kind of go into this point in particular, goes into a bit of a standoff.
Yeah.
Once the point's gone for this long, as a defender, you probably don't want to like take a risk and like lose your position trying to get a D.
Just a little bit there, like Estelle did.
Okay.
Or Claire.
Or Claire, yeah. And the offense is the same. You after throwing whatever 70, 80 passes, you really don't want to take a risk on the 81st.
Yeah.
Necessary. So I think both defense and offense here are being very, very cautious about everything, which is probably not very entertaining for the spectators.
I think Liam kind of says it in the commentary several times. You know, Finland, it was just about who was going to pull the trigger. You know, they get outside the end zone. There's so many points like this. They get right on the doorstep, and then we push them back another 10, 20 yards because, you know, no one wants to be the person that caused the turnover.
Yeah, I think I heard the Finnish as well saying that you know, don't be scared to turn over. They were telling each other, don't be scared to turn over. You have to throw.
Yeah.
But so I've commentated on this Finnish women's side twice now, and I would say if I were thinking about putting a defense against them, a zone might slow them down, but I don't know how much it will stop them. They have very, very solid throwing capacity, and then this O-line that I've mentioned, I think,
you know,
I don't know if it's
Claire,
maybe 8 or 9,
James defender.
They see past the parcel at this stage. It's like, get rid of it as safely and as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Don't be
Where did Emma go?
I know she's doing great.
Yeah, it's unusual to play a team next year, to see a team where everyone seems good and conservative on the disc. We're not. We have a few players that just, when disc's in their hand, no matter what stage of the game.
Is there anyone in our team that
what, sir?
is good and conservative on the disc?
Yeah, definitely. Some players on the team just will always kind of look for the shorter, easier pass, but there are some gunslingers, definitely. And we play.
She's trying to crash that cup.
I think it's a good mixture.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
I'm just making an observation, not a person.
Yeah.
You need a bit of both.
But no, you do. Like, and I think individual players can play that versatile role of conservative and, you know, a very attacking zone offensive role. So you need to. I think you need to have both in your arsenal, definitely.
Well, I think even between you and me, Lulu, like
yeah,
some games that just needed lots of breaks, I would just pass it to you and let you work it down the break side. Or some games, if they were just giving us the expansive, you'd play the more conservative and let me kind of throw the hook. So I guess it's nice to have someone similar or opposite that you can just take on or step back when you need to.
Yeah, definitely.
Barely looks like Ultimate anymore for the last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Doesn't really look like Finland trying to score. Like you would swear they're trying to wind the clock down like at the end of a game or something, and it's a timed game.
Yeah, you think they were up 4-1.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
I think defensive player of the year, runner-up.
And yeah, Finland like to play with it, like a lot of clutter almost, it looks like. Like they're not really stretching it to the very far ends of the end zone. Like they're not really trying to super occupy Jane by sticking someone on that back cone or something like that.
I felt like most teams didn't try and, considering that it wasn't that windy in most of our games, didn't try and exploit like the deep and the wings much.
It was only
We're all in and around cleaner,
I don't know if Cap's going to go during this one, but
Russia had a few good throws over the top. Those in the semi-final.
Yeah, it's funny because we say that a lot of these teams play indoors and they have blades and things, so it always surprises me that they don't use them as much as I would think.
I think if you watch Essie in the EUC final 2015.
Yeah.
Like all of her indoor throws come out then, like those big forehand breaks.
Yeah, she scored I think 5 or 6 times off them at the first
so many
in their last final.
Yeah.
She loves that person defense. It's like a backhand force pivoting, throwing that. She tries it a couple times in this game, actually made her on. But she's amazing in that throw. It was in our scouting report. Whoever's marking Essie, do not let her throw one around forehand. Please just do not let her throw around forehand. Anything else will be fine. But yeah, like huge credit to Finland for how much they were able to hunt this there. Like that's insane. I don't know how many passes it was. I'm never going to catch it because I have better things to do in my life, I think. But in that heat, under pressure, for really good defense, to be able to do that is ridiculous.
Just keeping your head, yeah.
It's actually a wee bit emotional seeing everyone on the pitch right now and missing all your friends.
Yeah, that's true. Potentially getting the
Aww.
Seeing Claire and Jane there was a nice big close up of them.
We'll go off, talk about what worked, what was the zone looking
sure,
like,
we'll get playing again soon.
Potentially come out stronger.
Right, simple game from here. Hold your offense, you win.
This is difficult because you're coming out not literally cold, but kind of growing on the sideline much. You're not really shading from the sideline, keeping some sort of game focus and energy in that way. So you're coming out to play after about 3 or 4 points break. And then we do that.
Then we fall into the trap.
Yeah, it's very difficult on the sideline because you had so many things going on. First, you were hot, so you wanted to keep yourself kind of your energy reserved. But then you also wanted to support your teammates, and then you also needed to shout for them on the pitch as much as you could, or try to keep their heads up and everything. But then also maintain your energy so that when you came on, you weren't sluggish. So just being on the sideline alone in this game was just waiting to come on. It was tough.
And you have Sarah Melvin can be like that.
Yeah, and you're like, God, amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal.
But yeah, Jess, you're right. Like with the heat, like one of my favorite parts of playing frisbee is sidelining. I love cheering on my teammates and picking someone to help out on defense and stuff. But you just couldn't do it in that heat, and it really takes away from your concentration and you in the mindset of the game.
But you didn't know what to prioritize, really.
Yeah, yourself or your teammate. Like, what do you do?
What do you do?
It's very difficult.
I think even in between games, in a normal temperature, I'd just be throwing kind of the whole time or have a disc in my hand the whole time. But I felt like even having it near me or trying to throw in between games, it was just sapping all my energy. So I think I only ended up throwing in actual games, during the game or in the warm-up, where I kind of limit myself at the start to just felt like I was going to run out of throws nearly.
Yeah.
I didn't want to use them up.
To pull here from Ireland.
Yeah, we're choosing that instead of the actually warming up your throws in between.
Representing Tribe.
One thing's noticeable from our offense, which isn't going very well in this game so far, is how little we attack the near side of the pitch. Where the camera is. So like obviously that turnover kind of came from everyone being too close to this, too far on the far side. Just Jess says falling, or Lulu says he's falling into Finland's trap, which is putting FM on us.
Allowing the swing.
The thing though, rewatching this in that annoys me a little bit with the cutters, and I'll talk about what annoys me with the handlers as well, because I'm annoying myself a lot in this game, is the width of the cuts coming out of the stack. They're really not hitting the sidelines completely, and as Anya says, I love hitting those big around breaks, and it just wasn't popular, like it just wasn't possible to do that because we were essentially cutting too narrow and then coming across to kind of get like a small inside.
But as you mentioned, not enough to
play nicely.
Drop there. There were a lot of drops in this game that were just, I think, because the disc was slippery. It was shiny because the sun was shining on it, so it was really bright as well. The discs were nearly melting because of the heat. So they were kind of weird all around. So I think that's where a lot of the drops come from as well. It's just mentally being a little out of it because, I mean, even the haze, like,
you can see the heat coming off.
You can see it,
yeah.
We know the drop though. It's the throw we wanted to force in that situation. Claire is beaten deep a little bit, but because we were playing that FM, she was still on the open side of the receiver.
That hammer.
Unreal.
Strange choice, Claudia.
Come on, Emily, though.
Great concentration from Emily.
Great.
The gloves question. Gloves is definitely an interesting one on this pitch. It's definitely not.
So yeah, I think again, Anya and Michelle will have better effectiveness, but it looked like Finland's dump defense was really strong.
Similar to the Russians as well. Like I think they really tried to prioritize like a strong handler defense, because some teams will sit off you and it's an absolute dream as a handler, like you've just no pressure at the back sometimes, but the minute someone's right in your pocket and like putting a ton of pressure on you for getting free, to me that puts so much more pressure on me in terms of any of my throws or any of my cuts. I'm always going to second out myself. So
yeah, and I think they were giving each other a bit of free rein to circle on the mark, so the mark wouldn't necessarily stay. The mark would follow you around, so that it made it even harder, kind of, because it made you have to think more, and the cutters downfield wouldn't expect the mark to do that, so sometimes they mightn't have come out to give an option. I always want to stay with the dump once I'm looking, so I just made it feel like there was just more things in the way.
The Finnish offense still really, really smooth. Rantanen open whenever she wants to be.
Again, I think we try to play sort of end zone defense where people are like just trying to hold positions rather than guard players very tightly. It worked really well at the start of that phase. When Essie's upline cut was shut down by like two defenders basically being in space. But I think in this game with the heat, the sort of defense just didn't really work very well. It must have been so hard to just make continual physical and mental adjustments when you're just trying to stay alive. You can see that a few times. So the coaching just end up kind of standing around and not really moving the way they probably would have in slightly nicer conditions where I don't think I'm here really. That's
I think a lot of that would have been made 10 times harder had we, and I hate to say it, stayed at the tournament accommodation.
Why?
Buggy just done us an absolute solid and got the best hotel ever. And yeah, like every day coming out, we were so well rested, like so well fed, like mentally as well, because we'd spent, time at night hanging out together. Like we were just, I think headspace wise, we were in a really good space for playing. And our nightly meetings that we had, which would go over footage of the teams that we were playing the next day, really got people very concentrated into who we're coming up against tomorrow, what styles they like to play, how we're going to beat it. And I just felt so confident every day coming out, thinking, yeah, we can win anything. Like we're were so well versed at this time. So,
Did you get involved in this call?
I think I do come down to get the disc basically.
Yeah, you do.
So yeah, within the 15 seconds I count it, I'd be down and trying to discuss the call. I think Fiona, you said something about this call that they're both coming into a similar space, and was an arm hit by one of the players or not, and I think that's what they might have been discussing. Usually what I said when I come down, because the players have already discussed it, the first question I ask, or near to the first question, is, are you going to change your mind or not? It's kind of like, if they haven't sorted it out by then, I'm not listening to what the argument is. I just want the argument to be over. So are you going to change your mind? And the person, if they think about it, maybe they will. If they're just like, no, I'm not changing my mind, then there's nothing more you can do, just contest it and send it back. It's kind of my general thoughts on being spare captain and joining in, because there's no point. I was so far away. I don't want to hear I don't want to know what necessarily happened. There's no point in me listening. It needs to be resolved in another 15 seconds. So
yeah, like they know the rules, sort of. It's just that interpretation side of it again. Is it incidental contact? Is it initiated by Vestman in that case? Or is it a fair lead? Because she, I think, hits the disc first. I don't think she hits Sarah or her hand. I think she just collides with Sarah's body in a way that doesn't regard her space at all. Whereas Sarah's actively trying to avoid any contact with her. So it's one of those.
So yeah, it's funny kind of being a spare captain in a self-refereed sport, because people kind of think you're just the person that's supposed to know the rules, and they ask you all the rules, but it's everyone's responsibility to know the rules, and it's just my job to like make the discussions happen in a timely and fair way and discuss any larger problems with the other team's captain. So that's kind of how I took the role on anyway, because I'm not involved, so I don't have necessarily the best perspective on it.
I think we had problems throughout the season with contact. I think that was a large part of the annoyance of Finland at that point, in that particular incident, where I think they felt that because obviously the incidents were never with the same Irish players, but I felt that we were calling things one way sometimes and calling another way other times.
She wasn't marking the player that was going into the end zone there, but the speed
yeah,
to catch up and the height.
Yeah, like we were inconsistent as players with how much contact we wanted
within our team. Yeah,
or would allow. Or
it's definitely annoying to play against.
Yeah, and it's tricky because we hadn't been filmed that much. It was hard for us to assess our own level of contact besides what we felt was happening, which is totally different to objectively what is happening. So I guess like in this game, lots of times people don't call fouls, and you don't remember the times you don't call fouls. You only remember the times you do call fouls. And you might call fouls at the end of a series of fouls that you didn't call. So like, again, it's that like, it's the subjective nature of self-refereeing or any refereeing. But
yeah, and it is a tough one because like not necessarily every player is going to make the same call in every situation. So like, you know, it's probably fair to say every team is going to be inconsistent within the team, you know.
So I suppose that even at the start this year was the first thing I wanted to address was how do we want to consistently call fouls across the team, and what are we willing to take, or what are we just going to say no, we're going to call it every time, or what do we need to work on within the team in terms of the foul calling or any calls. So that's we did try to address it after the 2019 season.
It's an interesting point here because we'd already fallen into Finland's kind of forced middle trap with an underpass in the earlier point. Here we've done 3 hooks against the forced middle. Exactly the hooks that anyone who's going to forced middle will want. You're throwing them into traffic. I know the last one was too far as well, but the other 2 were like really good throws, like technically really good throws to receivers that had steps deep. But yeah, the job of forced middle is we're going to throw them to defenders that are on the open side, so if they aren't out in front, they're probably going to get these, which happened those first 2 anyway.
and ran out of bounds. They have observers in Newcastle Ultimate. Thankfully, don't have
taking us a little while to adjust to what's going on in this game. I think part of that was the fact that well, Windmill in the first game, we had actually scored quite easily, even though we didn't win. When we got broken, we just couldn't get this back. This game's a bit more of a war of attrition rather than we turnovers, but our offense is not flowing as well.
They look to advance to the semi-finals here, but it is Finland with a chance to get their first break of the game.
Such a good poach from Anya.
Irish lines apart, but this Finnish
that's the SC Stroller talk. I think Sarah gets a touch. That's what we wanted everyone to do with Mark and SC. It's an outrageously good throw. It's such a crazy good weapon. But Sarah's hand speed is insane.
But yeah, and it's interesting, she threw it anyway. I don't think any of her players were cutting it. She expected it to float enough on the break side for them to attack it then. But it obviously doesn't come the way anyone's expecting. So
I think at this stage, I've been so used to kind of, I often don't give myself any room for fatigue at the end of the day, and I try to throw throws that I can throw at the start of the day. So I think I was nearly too second guessing on what I should throw and what I shouldn't throw, that a lot of the times I'm looking off options that probably were viable and actually probably could have thrown the disc, which is kind of, it was funny. I was nearly doing the opposite. I was just only giving myself 80 or 90% options and not taking any chances. So it's a tricky one to decide at the end of the day. It's probably around 4 o'clock now. You've already played a game. I'm saying, okay, Anya, you're tired. Don't throw anything silly.
And this is our 9th game.
Try for the 3rd time to shoot the end zone.
2 turnovers for each team in this point.
Yeah, so
quite a long point. Maybe still not yet as long as that Finnish offense.
So we had Sweden just before this,
but
and that was what, 15-10 scoreline.
Yeah.
Ian, do you remember much about that match?
The main thing I remember was that I was really sick in a warm up, and I called Michelle, Jen, and Zoe and Sarah together, and was like, I have to run over to the stadium, and I don't know if I'll be back.
Yeah.
For the game.
So it's a bit of wild stress.
I did not know that.
Sarah and Jen were like, yes, that's what we want. As far as I remember.
I was like, what did you eat?
Oh.
Yeah, but it was okay in the end. Yeah, it was a really tight game actually. Sweden were very good, so they got knocked into lower pool because tournament seeding was essentially random because it was based on 4 years ago and packs and things. So they had a really tough initial group, and they kind of smashed the lower pool, I think. And it was very windy in that game, very windy in that game. So it was a bit of a grind. But yeah, tough it out. Good win. You don't beat Sweden very often.
No.
I remember watching women's team this Sweden a lot.
Yeah, I've never beaten Sweden before in women's. So.
Yeah. And they were super nice.
Yeah, they were lovely.
They won spirit, didn't they?
Yeah, I remember close to the end of that game, and a down call that I agreed was down. I think they might call it on themselves as down, and I was like, that's no way, shape, or form down. And the game was been like 3 at that stage. I was like, what? How are you? What? What other team would do that? So this has been not being good at being tall.
A nice shot across the field, and that is a break for Finland.
Great bit on you.
They celebrate that with the enthusiasm that they've been building.
Yeah, so long point for offense.
Very important for Finland to get one of those breaks back.
And not really clicking the way we had been clicking in previous games. And with the heat, this was a kind of tough decision walking back the line. Tough decisions with like 10-15 seconds maybe to make them rolls fun. Decide like, are they going to be okay to go again with the heat? Do I want to change it up? Like, it wasn't just a long point. It was both a long point, plus the fact that we just weren't playing great offense anyway. So it was kind of already thinking about change. So yeah, tough decision, and I don't know if I made the right call by just dodging the decision and just rolling them back out there. Ideally, I would take the timeout, but we had literally just taken the timeout. And maybe that's like a it's like a mental weakness, it's like some cost effect or something where it's like I felt because we had just taken time out, I didn't want to take another time out straight away. You know, it might have been a sensible option to, if I wanted to stick that on, be like, okay, we'll take time out, just get them from water, get them simmer down a bit, and then come out and score.
It's kind of different though, because like it's only 5-4, you get 2 per half day, and like your D line could probably really do with it as well. So in a point to try and convert it if they have a long D point again. So I think it was right not to call time out still.
And again, downwind. You know what's going to happen.
Yes. So rather than adjusting our offense, we just play downwind instead.
But if you take me off at a downwind point, Ian, when they don't hear me.
Out again, coming in for this D.
Fiona Myrna, safe as a house.
It's great help D from them,
grab
but
under the pressure of 2
can beat it.
And to me,
Fiona can jump and stay in the air for 3 seconds.
It's just a difference as well, like between the hooks that we previously had. Like I was saying, obviously not Kelly's one, but Tony's one to Brina / Sarah, and Fiona's one to Sarah / Brina. Where like, two cutters are basically direct in front of them, where the defenders were on the open side of them. Whereas here, Fiona's nice and wide for Anya, and then she cuts across Essie really early in the cut, so Essie can't get on the open side to make it tested. And the throw is unreal. It's like postage stamp back corner, put out there for a receiver to attack. It couldn't be any better.
I think is that the only hook I get thrown in the game as well? I feel like that's the only one.
Yeah, play instrument a lot of games, so you don't play a lot of downwind points.
Oh yeah, so Anya's like, there's only one thing I
can my only chance. Like you take out the line, so might as well just go for it.
I think on streamed games, I only threw 1 hook or something. And then, because I was trying to think about it, and then it was like a lot of the non-streamed games I did throw loads more, but it's just the streamed games for some reason.
Irish team are streaming in a row.
You're more aware.
Things that to do for the
don't want to mess up.
We'll live on the internet.
Yeah.
We're actually expecting Italy to beat Ireland mixed, but that went to a spicy universe point game and they won that one.
So defensively playing
His
here.
brother Keith was on that.
Yeah, FSU. See us down on the pitch.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the Myrna family can be
I love how Estelle straightened her hair for the final.
What they're achieving here today.
Spoilers.
So it was perfect in the medal shot.
Yeah.
She had the right idea.
Yeah, because she took it down.
Yeah. Oh, disclaimer for nicely, Claire Pugh.
And run halfway up the field.
Yeah. But wait, where is the line?
Do you realise that was a travel, Michelle? You internally screaming at Pugzer as you're about to catch that disc. Like, why did you throw
I was just so happy to like get the disc and not having to pick it up, and, like to get it in flow.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
I think she did run out, but then when she went to go back, instead of going parallel to where she went out, that's when she just went further up.
Just went to where she felt would be best. It's understandable.
Yeah.
I also think that's a great call from Finland, because that happened so fast.
Yeah.
Their reaction to be able to call that travel was...
Definitely.
That's Essie called this. That's
great hands.
Football fan, but will watch women's sports of any kind.
Yes.
And Estelle, she's really close on that.
So
great bid from Estelle.
Yeah, we're saying that the wind is picking up all throughout the game. The hooks were starting to float into that direction, so to get this hammer as flat and fast over that distance was crazy good, but probably a bit too fast than anything for Estelle, unfortunately, in the end. We're saying it's hard enough to catch regular throws in this game sometimes, let alone a bullet of a hammer.
Yeah.
Floating around.
Yeah, it'd be me trolling you more than anything.
So I think, we said we had lots of kind of disadvantages with going into this game, but I think one of the things that might have helped us was that we did play this game second. So we had to focus on Sweden first, and then basically had a game off before this. Kind of helped me anyway. I didn't think too much about, and we didn't know we were going to play Finland, obviously. We didn't know we were going to get through, and we didn't know we were going to play Finland until
I knew if we got through, we were definitely going to play Finland.
No.
Who did they have?
We actually...
It would be typical that we would have to play Finland if we got through.
We actually this is the day that we actually went back to our accommodation in between games.
And went to the sauna.
And no, I don't think we did, and that would just dehydrate us even more.
We did. Some of us went to the sauna.
Oh, I didn't. I just slept.
I went to the sauna.
But this was where the accommodation really was amazing. The fact that we were able to make that decision to be like, no, let's grab our cars. It's a 10-minute drive. Let's go have a nap, have some proper food, and then come back out stronger.
He's working nice and slow here to finish.
I go home, take a cold shower, completely cool off.
Like the Irish often
so
do,
nice.
Rest up in the sauna.
All the way to the end zone.
The decision Boogie and myself made like very early on, before the team was picked and so on, was we didn't want to rely on the tournament for anything possible. We've been to so many international tournaments, and sometimes the combination is good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes the shuttle buses are good, sometimes they're bad, sometimes the food is good, sometimes it's bad. It's like we could just not take a risk on any of it being bad. We could just organise it all ourselves, which it worked out really well. Boogie was doing mad work like before the tournament even said where the pitches were. He was like going on Google Earth and finding all clumps of green in the city so he could figure out like where it was likely to be so he could look up the right sort of hotels and so on.
Amazing, what a hero.
Yeah. So we booked this in like October before September before the tournament.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I do.
No way. Is there this?
.com do free cancellations until like the day before, so it was like risk-free booking it.
Yeah.
Just good, but yeah, it's great to secure it.
That's class.
When you're on the forest,
had a good McDonald's beside it as well.
McDonald's and a nice restaurant which serve healthy food. Which also eat it.
Oh,
that restaurant was
so
delicious.
Good.
Oh my god.
It's kind of saved my life as well. So.
It's like a $5 meal.
So I put on like 2 kgs that week. From the food.
Achilles maybe. I was going to say she's doing an assassin on Ikonen, but that's not actually true. But definitely kind of almost forcing away from Ikonen. They want to keep the disc out of her hands. With Vestman now trying to get in the end zone. And this was what could only be described as
something priority for me because I'm an extremely fussy eater, so I don't want to rely on anything. If I can make my own food, I need to have that option.
The Finnish team very
had all our after sun in the fridge.
Interesting point though.
Nice.
For the evening time was perfect.
That was a good call.
The emotional feeling of the point is very.
So again, FSU point.
That's what the Finnish need right now, but.
Finland are like we got a freebie off them the first time we played this, and we haven't got any since. They've been very controlled. But the good thing for us is that like we're a couple of breaks up, so yeah, keeping their best players out in the sun is good for us. And keeping our O-line in the shade, drinking water as much as possible is good for us, especially after they kind of just had a high run. Just even if we don't get a break here, let people rest. It's going to be a good thing.
Leno, who scored that.
But the zone is going Trojan work it to stop and finish scoring.
Amazing.
Team is getting lots of boshes in the middle there.
This is great here. This is like a really high stall count there.
Give them all the energy. It was a great goal for Finland. They're the ones cheering now.
Like you can see there, Estelle's a bit annoyed at that.
Very tightly slid in there to a very
They've done a great job
window.
with handling marks there, getting that up to a really high stall count.
And that was an indoor throw.
We actually couldn't even see the disc because it was caught because there were so many.
But it was good, like where she placed it and everything for Essie to run onto.
As always from the Finnish O-line to find that, and a nice big celebration from the Finns.
Emma's arguing about
offensive hold.
78.
I'm sure she's very politely asking her to mind the contact.
Maybe.
Emma's
forces.
Yeah, I was terrified of getting
handsy in there.
Yeah.
Probably relying on
lovely
fewer
throws off
than the Irish, so I'd like to maybe see them come out with more match defense, maybe do some poaches, try and make them grind really hard for their points, try and tire out their legs, because if you really make the likes of Ikonen investment work hard, they're going to have to take a point off every now and again, and that's maybe their time to strike.
It's true. We see Ikonen leaving the pitch now, letting her D-line work without.
Probably made 11 minutes of play, no Ds.
I couldn't function. I couldn't speak. I just wanted my towel. All I did was run off straight. But you used to say that to us as well. Like you were like, go, go, like into the space. And we were like, we didn't talk to each other. Like, we just waited for the next time we had to do it again.
Yeah, you're a well-oiled machine at that stage. You don't need to talk anymore.
The dreaded.
Whose line is it anyway, Anya?
You should have just thrown it deep. Fiona, why did you go there?
I think they had 2 people sitting about like 30 yards deep that time. It was like,
yeah, so got the wrong line. So
I really specifically remember here after I got the force wrong earlier in the game, like asking Buggy, like, what is the force? Say it in English. Like, I need to know.
Oh, yeah.
I think
None
you
of
were
us Irish.
yeah, you were a bit like, you were like, you have to say it in English.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Words.
I know. But it's like Awalia home, Harlar away. Like Awalia makes me think away, and then Harlar with an H makes me think home.
Give away our language there, Lulu.
Westman not in the field.
Well, if it's confusing her and she practices all year with this.
Absolutely. Finland demonstrated.
Yeah, so tough break to go.
Some very confident, calm handling.
Yeah, frustrating when it's just like it's that sort of mistake. It's not like a missed execution. It's not a great D or anything. It's just that's not the right line.
Well, I still could have called it, but it was just I think I was thinking of the lines too much. I don't think I was confused with which line was in, but
yeah, you can see
so I'm trying to tow it, and then the disc goes under my hands rather than between them. So that's just me taking my eye off the disc. I think
that means no one actually knows what she does for a living.
So we take time in here. I think
it's a controversial point.
No, it's not.
I think the assist
well,
by
technically it should be Galaxy Point, but do we take a Galaxy Point? You'll find out soon.
Stay tuned.
Watching.
The commentators and production team know that it's the time half is on, so it's half at 7 points. Finland don't know. We don't know. Probably that's because all the players are over the stand, whereas Shade, there's very few players over where the volunteers, which seems a pretty poor piece of setup, but that's why it comes to basically on this near sideline to the camera. It's only myself and Amy. Amy was injured out of the play, so we were on that sideline all game. I don't know, occasionally to be another player over there, not usually, because we usually tell them, so you come over here, you should be over in the shade. I can shout loud enough for the whole sideline, don't worry.
I don't remember them even saying. Myself and Heather was over on that sideline quite a bit as well, but I don't remember them ever saying Galaxy Point.
No.
I do remember them say when they like muttered half, and then that's when all the confusion started. But they didn't even alert us that it was Galaxy Point or half anything like that.
Yeah, the volunteers didn't have the best environment. All the reports at the tournament, it was extremely tough. So that volunteer was young, possibly didn't actually play Ultimate, and on his own.
Possibly didn't have a great English either.
Or something in that blazing heat on the hottest pitch. And it was just
you can probably guess which side I want
because it's a volunteer that's timekeeping. They're not having authority as such, or they're not told that they're supposed to come in and communicate and definitely tell the teams that it's going to be half time. So it's one of those. It's a bit of a flaw in the system, I think.
And I think as well, we'll see what happens. I think if it's an ultimate player or experienced ultimate player, an ultimate player, once he sees the next point about to be played and knows that's wrong, it's not shouldn't be happening, they probably make a big effort to stop it, whereas someone that's less experienced or doesn't know the game as much might just think that that's how it's going to happen, like, oh, the teams have decided to play again for whatever reason. It's not my job to so there's a whistle system for, like, they whistle for stoppages and half time and things like that, so I presume he whistles, that's how commentators stand inside him knew. But we don't know. There's another foul.
Yeah. This is a foul now on our end. Brina actually called it and then retracted, which shows fairness is coming from both sides.
Towards the far sideline.
I think it depends who's involved in the discussions a little bit.
The left side of the field, so Finland can't have a chance to break going downwind to take this.
Yeah, it took a lot of years to get Brina to actually call fouls.
It's just impolite.
Yeah.
most experienced.
I send her a gift of that every month or so. January, she'll call that foul.
She called it.
So I should have stuck with it, sorry.
Yeah, this is an honest
Don't know
deal.
what I got that. She left her feet.
Someone
She
crossing
knows
over,
it.
deep shot comes.
Brina's redemption.
Young versus
And
Gold.
she just looks at it.
I know.
Another just bouncing out
But
of
maybe,
the
like,
other side.
actually, I don't think we
Not an
considered this
easy
earlier
catch
whenever
by
we were chatting
any
about it. It
strong
could have been
defensive
glare
pressure there, but
from the disc, because we
did
did say that
Yeah.
it was really shiny, like she might
might
have even had an idea of where it was.
Yeah, someone actually commented on the YouTube, is someone trying to blind the players with mirrors?
Got up early, we just can't hold on to it, unfortunately. Boyd. Galini.
Yeah, so what I was going to say about
Melvin on
the
the under.
handlers, me in particular, I think a lot of this game, I'm just
Ernest
so
Freedown,
close
she's ready
as the
to get her
dump the entire time. It ends up blocked. Like, I know they're forcing his middle, but staying that close actually takes away quite a lot of that lane sometimes if the defender's smart enough to kind of poach off of it and come in.
At this point, this is like, this phase is just the Sarah Melvin show.
Kelly Highland, who uses her hop.
1 European player of the year for anything, possibly for this point. Like,
Wearing a knee brace, had a bad
not that it
knee
meant that much in the
injury
end,
2 years
but
ago, but it's
should be for half.
come back even stronger.
But it's
Which is
outrageous
great to see.
energy and cutting.
Played for the
And
Irish.
then
Go on, Fiona.
phenomenal
Big
throw.
feet.
The sheer vision.
Gets the break around,
You know,
gets the foul on that.
If I throw this hammer here, the wind will drift it straight into Luna's hand.
I thought it might have been
No one would expect.
in the end zone, but either a very well weighted reset or
There's all the turnover anyway.
there. But then, yeah, Boyd going on a very aggressive attempt at a round backhand and
Do you remember that foul discussion? She just uncontested that, Luna?
Yeah, straight away. Like she
the Irish
proper hit my hand like
to win to this
on
point.
it.
I agree with you. I'm not sure if the hammer.
Like I have quite a
intended
wide
target, but it's with Boyd
pivot.
now. Wants to try and break the mark.
to
Melvin.
No,
Eventually
so I'm
gets
very
free on the
happy to
open
do
side.
those types of backhand
Fantastic
breaks.
stuff for Melvin. So
But no,
Ireland
she was
win this
very
Galaxy
courteous
point.
about it.
But the versus
Although I have been told
Celtic.
off since by Sam
absolutely.
that I need to just call contact on those and stop stopping the flow of the play. So
breaks for each team now. So
Noted.
essentially,
Well, that way you released it there.
But you threw that one, so you
yeah, I did throw it. So
That's the freebie throw. Like, that's a good throw.
it is.
We get to this back. So, all right. So, countdowns. I think I'm not listening to it, but I think they're talking about it's half time and they're signing off for take a little break, and we are not. Neither are Finland. We're lining up to play some more frisbee because we love it so much, especially when it's played in 37 degrees heat on Astro.
I think we should go for a 7-minute half, but I'm not sure if the players on the pitch
You'll see though,
that. Both teams are
well, everyone,
to
I suppose
put a line out.
Sinead on the right side there, she's going to pull, and so I'd say she's just focused and she can't hear, but just before she's going up for the pull, you can see, I know I wave my arms and everyone else just is like, what? And just not actually doing the run up with the pull. So it's just like,
She's the only one who didn't hear me say.
yeah, it was
stop,
just,
basically.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, so they're playing replays because I think it's half time. So basically what's happening here, because you can't see it on camera, I think when someone realizes in the commentary / volunteer tent that this is going wrong. Unfortunately, there's no players around because obviously all our players were pretty getting up with me for the line calls. So it takes up until someone comes back for anything to happen. Unfortunately, the only person over there, or the nearest person, is Amy. Actually, there's 4 players over there. I don't know why it was Amy that came with me. Amy couldn't run because she was injured. So she walked up to me and told me, I was like, oh, they're saying it's half time. As quickly as possible, turn around, stop. But she didn't pulls anyway. Everyone else has stopped. So it was like the worst of both worlds. We didn't manage to stop the pull, to resolve it. We pulled now, and we also not started playing defense. So we were able to just get up the pitch. I had no idea what to do once the disc had been pulled, so I just said play on. Everyone looked very angry at me and confused, which is fair because, like, what else would you be feeling? But yeah, a bit of a mess. And the idea was to play a really fast, athletic D-line here and get a really big pull and play hard front defense all the way up the pitch, and that's kind of got on straight away.
Yeah, and actually, Sarah, I think the pull is bad because I think it's when Sinead is releasing, it's finally clicking with her that people are shouting at her. So she just throws like halfway or something. So this doesn't go very far for the pull. We're not running up for the pull. They get halfway super easily, and then obviously we're not mentally focused.
So now we have a discussion.
So
still don't know if Finland know. I still don't think Finland know what's going on, by the way.
I'm not sure.
No.
They're all setting up.
I think I remember on that side, so the reason Amy went was because we came off just after you'd called the line, and that's when the volunteer kind of muttered something about halftime, and we were like, sorry, what? So then Amy was immediately like, if it's halftime, I'm going to tell Frenchie, because she was the only one, she kind of had some wits with her. We were all exhausted. And that's when we were like, sorry, can you repeat that? Does Finland know? Is this serious? And then that's when she was telling you, and that's when it all broke down. But the volunteer muttered it and then just kind of walked back to his seat. And we were like, sorry, what? Do they know? Is this, what? And then,
yeah, it was very confusing.
So I still think we both call lines here as well, because I don't know what's going on still. So I forgot to actually call the line. Like, I was wondering why 2 lines were in place. I called the line and then went to try and resolve it, which is obviously again the stupid way to do it. But this is a pretty new event, and I'm pretty tired at this point. I was sick this morning, which I forgot as well, so probably didn't help. I hadn't eaten this day either. So yeah, we're chatting to the Finland captain, I think, about, or maybe their spirit captain, about what's going on, what do we do. Obviously, we both have very different perspectives from Finland's point of view. Like, they have a chance to break for half, they want to take it, and they think the point was played, so we should just play on and make 8 half. My perspective is the half time is a stoppage, and the point didn't count because that point can't be played because it was half time. Impossible to play that point. It didn't exist, which obviously they didn't want because he scored it. It's totally fair. So we're having a very difficult discussion, partly because of the background of the previous games that we'd had with him, where we both had Kevin Sabia like, we're not accusing you of cheating, we're not accusing you of just trying to take advantage of the rules, but this is our perspective. I know you're saying this, and that's your perspective, and I don't know what the rule is, I'm just trying to resolve it. I was trying to do 2 other things, just get the scorekeeper involved, so you just didn't want to be involved. Fair enough. Yes, not really his job. And well, there's a guy from the UF here because Anya asked him to be here, so I'm desperately trying to get him to come over and help us out as kind of a neutral but authoritative figure. Also, and commentators started arguing me during this for some reason as well, which does not help the situation, because Liam Grant, he's Irish, to have like a neutral Irish person on the sideline basically shouting 20 yards telling me that I'm wrong and I should just back down is really not helping the whole situation. Then on is getting involved, so this is where I'm arguing now.
But like, a commentator has absolutely zero authority, so like he definitely doesn't have a say in what should happen either. So I can understand like just being like, that's just a voice too many of it.
Yeah. So because Ian is arguing here about that point not counting, and Finland are saying it should count, I think I'm trying to decide what is the most likely outcome to happen here. So like, what is going to happen, and how can we? I think I was just like, I don't want this to affect everybody, and I don't want to be affected by this long argument, because I don't want to have a big massive argument discussion, and regardless of what the outcome is, it's gonna impact everybody because it's stopped the flow already. So I think I'm just trying to decide on how to get out of this in the easiest way possible. So I think I just thought that if we just play another point, it would just be the easiest way out, and we can score another one and just get it done, and not necessarily thinking of what is the fairest solution, because I don't think I had any mental capacity whatsoever to form any sort of argument either way. It's just like, let's just play on the game. So I think that's kind of where I'm coming from, and I think that's where we end up just going. Is I think Sarah comes over and I ask her, what should we do, and she says, I think we should just play, and I was like, okay, I agree, and then we tell Ian that that's what we want to do. So it's such a tricky situation.
Yeah, I was trying to recall like any time anything similar has come up. So I was coaching mixed in under-23s in Toronto in 2013. Yeah, this sort of related thing against Japan, where Japan scored what they thought was the winning goal, 13-10 against us. Because I think both teams were told time was up before the point. And then once both teams were shaking hands and were going towards the spear circle, the volunteers told us actually they made a mistake. Time hadn't gone, but now had gone. So it should be game 14. And Japan reacted the way I hope Finland reacted, be like, yeah, let's play. Or maybe Finland were hoping we would react. So let's play on. So they were happy enough to stay. And there wasn't actually a goalie and we all thought it was at the time. That's the only, like Buggy brought up, similar from 2010, from 23s. A similar setup where there were kind of young volunteers, where they mistimed the game that Belgium. Belgium had actually scored the winning goal. The volunteers got the time wrong, and then GB scored twice because they played on. So GB won. And then they're trying to resolve it afterwards. And they basically just, because it didn't affect the standings in the pool that they're in, they just decided just to keep GB as the winners. But it would be a nice precedent to have known at the time.
But apparently GB as well thought that Belgium should have had the win.
Yeah, GB wanted to give Belgium the win.
So again, the team was like, technically that's how the time went and how it should have been. So. But this is the middle of the game, so there's still no precedent. They were both endings, so it's a kind of.
Anyway, just because any Finnish people watching.
That if it had been half time, we could have just been practicing our pool chase, technically, and it didn't need to have been a point.
That's probably why we should have played off once we realised we pulled it. This was actually half time. To be like, oh no, we were just practicing something. But just in case there are any Finnish people that end up watching this for some reason. Like I imagine I would have been saying the exact same as Finland in their situation. Like all that argument, or I was trying to come across an argument like wasn't saying that we were definitely right and that's the way it has to happen. They were definitely wrong. It was like I don't know what's going on, but I think halftime means halftime, and if a point is played by accident, that's just tough luck for you because you scored it. And I was trying to say if we had scored it and then we told it halftime, I would have given that point back. I honestly believe I would have, but I can't prove that.
Yeah, and again, it's that thing, and it's actually what all the discussions with them had been the whole time, is our ways of thinking and our perspective is completely different. So it was never going to be an agreement, I don't think. Because all the actual things that are written into the rules interpretation were different opinions. There's no way something that isn't actually in the rules, we would interpret it in the same way either. So it was a really funny situation in terms of like playing different cultures and different people in the way they think. It's so hard to come to conclusions on something that doesn't have a very explicit answer or something written down exactly on what the steps are to do.
Slightly annoyingly, we actually started the offense quite well. A lovely break from Ollie to Sarah. Just a flood throw from Sarah that turns us over, which wasn't unique to that game. I think where you can see our focus is gone is, for example, like Finland do take a few seconds to pick the disc up, and Brina's marking Essie, which is not the matchup we would have chosen. All game was Sarah get onto Essie ASAP and Brina be in the middle of the cutters for that sort of thing to happen. Be tall there, so yeah, our focus is probably a little bit gone, and like Anya as well, you made like an upfront cut that you probably wouldn't have made earlier in the game, so probably affected us. But that was weird. I hope that never happens again. If it did happen again, I wouldn't have a clue. We still don't know. We still don't have an answer to what is supposed to happen in that situation. So if it does happen again, I'm watching this, if it happens again, no one knows. You're on your own.
And again, it's like, it depends on which side you're on. Like, you don't want, there's too much bias in that decision.
Yeah, one team's giving up a point, basically.
Yeah.
Which in a game that's this tight is massive.
Yeah. So they probably should write it into the rules.
Yeah, it's like half time is a stoppage. So yeah, very confusing. Yeah.
And so yeah, that's us talking to Ted Butte there. He's a really nice guy. I asked him to come to the game because I knew it would be tight. I knew there'd be discussions.
Obviously a very stressful situation.
Unfortunate that it ended up being that insane discussion that was nobody's fault at all, and who knows what, if it was against another team, what the resolution would have been.
Kind of unfortunate as well, like to really help it be as unclear as possible that essentially we were going to be pulling from that end to start the half. So if we had any other configuration, like if they had pulled to us, or we were pulling from the other end at that halftime discussion, we'd be like, well, clearly this is wrong because it's supposed to be a mirrored half. But essentially, it was like, oh, it's what happened anyway. It's kind of like you were starting the next half with knowing a disadvantage, because everyone was where they would have been if we'd taken halftime anyway.
In some ways, it kind of reminds me of the rule where a goal is a goal no matter what happens afterwards. If you don't realize it's a goal and there's a turnover, but it was a goal, it's a goal. So it's kind of like it was half, so whatever happened afterwards, it was still halftime. In a way, if you want to liken it to any rule that there possibly is, like it can be likened to in that kind of way.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that earlier as well.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know if you can directly relate to them at all, but that's kind of what it reminds me of.
And I think then in terms of what I was thinking was, I don't think I realized we had gotten such a big lead, but I knew that we weren't playing our best and I knew that it was the first time we'd kind of lost half, because we've always started on in that whole tournament, I think. And it was the first time the D-line were going out and they kind of had to score a break, like we needed a break. So I think I felt pretty guilty. I was like, oh no, I've put all the pressure on them, and I'd never really felt that much pressure on before, because the D-line are excellent. Like you never feel any pressure coming from them to make sure you score all the points, and we had been broken before and stuff. But I didn't want to put pressure on the D-line, but I was starting to feel a lot of pressure on the O to like hold everything at this stage, which is hard, especially now we're coming up to closer to half 4 or 5, and we're really tired. We've been up all day second guessing and having really hard mental discussions at the halftime mark. Like it's not just you're physically tired, it's very mentally drained. So I think for the rest of the game, I'm really like second guessing most of my decisions, which I don't usually do.
Yes, this halftime, it's real halftime. We're going to call it a real halftime. My memory of it is not me arguing. It's just trying to finally sit in the shade under the stand and try and think about essentially our offense and what we're going to do. Obviously, our defense been doing really well. I knew we were going to get turnovers throughout the game. There was a little bit apprehensive on our FSU whether it was going to generate turns again rather than just generating time. And it kind of changed the dynamic of that, because now we were behind. Could I afford to send down FSU? It took 7 minutes for Finland to score. And it really cranked up the pressure on the offense, who needed to keep putting them in now because they weren't ahead anymore. But like, you just got for 7 minutes to think about scoring your next overwin, which is never fun. But we mainly think about trying to fix our offense. So I'm trying to think, like, can we just keep asking people to cut the break side more? Because it hadn't really been how we've been playing up to that point, so it's very hard to adjust in the middle of a game, particularly a game like this. It's super stressful to like change where you're cutting, or do I change the people that are playing, or do I change to one of our many other offenses? So like Anya came over and gave me a little nudge saying she wanted to move to 3-4. So that really helped at the time, because just like having a player who's in the thick of it, give their perspective, really helps in those situations where I'm unsure about what's going to be the best adjustment. I basically only have one chance to make an adjustment, because we get broken again, we're kind of screwed with the, like, was there 25 minutes left? There's not time to make multiple adjustments. So yeah, pretty stressful halftime for me anyway. How's everyone else doing?
I think I'm just having some snacks.
Our snacks. I don't know. I think being on the O-line, you're just always like, next one, like, we just have to put it in. And I still felt like we could win the game. I remember saying after the Swedish game, my mentality was, we have to believe we can win no matter what's happening during the game and before. At the very start of the game, you have to believe it's possible to win and not fall into the trap of, we haven't beaten them before, so it's not going to happen again, or it's not possible or whatever. So you just to take a point by point. Hadn't lost confidence in you.
Yeah, and I definitely think that. Well, I know my experience was that I didn't lose any confidence in the O-line at all. I knew, like I think Michelle said earlier, that we had total confidence in the O-line. Like I still did, but I had to make sure that I could do whatever in my power to make sure that you guys knew that as well. Like I know you say that you did. I don't know. Anya said she was felt under pressure, things like that. So I knew, like as a teammate, it was now the second half was like, it's going to be up to you guys mostly. So what can I do to make sure that you can do that? So it was like all my energy was now going into like bringing you guys water, making sure cheering on the sideline, shouting and being as helpful as I could to you guys, definitely. So then it was kind of a slight change in the game to be like, let's put all our energy into these people because we believe in them. We just need to make sure that they still do.
We are back, folks.
So I kind of don't feel I'm totally out of, or like there's just a bit more control the more you can play if you're actually involved. Like it's the worst thing is being the coach. I think like because you just have the weirdest kind of control. It's more you're influencing, you're not actually controlling anything really. So being able to play a little bit of both helps a bit as well. So it's not like, so Anya's saying every throw has to be kind of perfect, or should be perfect in completion. Whereas when you're playing a little bit of both, you know there's a little bit more of, you get a chance on D to, like if it's great if you get a turnover and then like your throws can be a little bit riskier. Shouldn't be!
I think that's why I'm not on the D line. I'm on the D line. I think I can throw whatever I want.
It's alright, he still plays in D.
Yeah, like I definitely wasn't like, oh, we're definitely going to win, but I never once thought we weren't going to win.
We didn't have a shot, yeah.
Yeah,
definitely. It was just an energy shift for me in the second half to like, I need to put my energy now, instead of conserving my energy for going on, it's my energy to go into these people.
Yeah, and I wanted you to give us a few more chances on FSU because I just felt like we were so close. A weird mixture of enjoying it and not enjoying it at all.
Yeah, it's like, send me on, no, I just need every.
There's also the attempt to kind of try and play a really athletic line coming out of half, to just play really tight person and hopefully get, if you get a break straight at half, then the game situation is so different. So kind of, yeah, small gamble, not a huge gamble. Like people should be fresh, but the danger is obviously it's a hell point and it's 7 or 8 minutes long, and then we don't score it, and then you're like, okay, well, Sarah and Fiona are gone from our offense because they can't play another point, and then you have to change everything. So very small gambles in Kelly as well. Come over from the offense.
As it is, get a violation called.
James on, I presume.
Yeah. So there's Sinead Coldfeld again, just talked about it. So temper's still, like a lot of the players are still staying very calm and polite with each other, despite everything that's happened.
Throw.
The Russian coach Dima has come over to scout this game.
I'm getting quite tense watching this again.
I am sweating buckets.
Yeah, this is my least favorite one.
Even though I know the outcome is still we pass, it's like maybe something different will happen this time.
I'm just feeling very hot remembering it. Just
I think I love the last 2 points. It's so unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. I remember, I think it was myself and Heather shading under a umbrella, just clutching each other, just being like, oh my god.
Break, but has to go back to Maya.
Puns.
The slipperiness of the disc comes to the tables again.
Is that a drop?
So both teams had a few of these.
I wasn't sure she was celebrating a drop.
That one was crazy. Like she had
her body behind it and everything.
Her body behind it slipped off her top and went out. Like absolutely crazy how much.
Those drops that we've been seeing from the Finnish team throughout this game, discs that should be fairly clean catches, just coming out of hands, and they really can't afford it in a game as tight as this one, giving the Irish back offensive.
Yeah, I know. I remember. Yeah. It's pretty poor going to start with, and Shane does really well to to spot Fiona coming.
Yeah.
You do though when things are messy. You just look for someone like Fiona.
Yeah.
Great hook and D.
Yeah, Fiona, we played hook and D now.
But I could have normally I'd complete that. So it wasn't like it was a risky or weird decision to throw that.
No.
I love how they zoomed right into the disc as well.
I think the difference between that hook and like Anya's hook to you, when you see slow-mo's of Anya's hook and replay, it's like how high Anya throws that hook is crazy. And like she just throws it over the stand basically. Whereas yours was like a really nice laser backhand hook downwind.
Normally it definitely wasn't. It's supposed to be like the one I threw to Sarah earlier in the game. I think it's that kind of sit it out into space, but it just came. I rushed it definitely.
Yeah, I think SC was kind of getting back on the mark and looked like you were you adjusted a little bit to avoid her or just get it off before she got there. Some weird defense we played at some points this game. Just very loose when it wasn't supposed to be loose.
Yeah, I was confused too. I was marking.
Yeah, you were marking 2 people at one point, including their best player. Which doesn't help. Good pursuit.
Finland, they've worked it up to halfway.
Oh,
great. But Vestman.
Oh, unlucky Fiona.
Matches her equally with a great catch. In the safe hands of Nicola. Looking for Franklin on the swing. Can't get it off. But again, it's Vestman is over.
Yeah, so it's good clamp on D at this point. But
maybe forcing her under.
Again, Finland was really good at holding on to this. It's very annoying. They just don't make this. They made a few like catching errors where I think it's just down to heat. This is why we couldn't get to this optimal window. They just don't do stupid things. Don't throw into traffic. Apart from they did at the end of the half, obviously, but they took it down now. Very solid. Happy to lose yards on resets. They just trust their throwers a lot.
Oh, and she got nice and close to the sideline, so she took a lovely time out.
Yes.
Yeah.
We always have to take the time out close to the sideline.
Outside the end zone.
No discussion again. Time it is. I don't know how can be hands together. Stalling one.
Yeah, she said stalling 2. She had a 2.
She said 1, I'd say.
Yeah.
No, how could she have said 1? She said stalling.
Well, she put her hand. She put up 2 fingers.
She did, yeah.
Stalling 1, 2.
So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Maybe it's coming in on 2. She was trying to say. I don't know.
I think that's why she then clarified.
I think quite a good move.
Good opportunity for our defense here. On the sideline, you have a chance to refocus and get fluids on board and stuff.
We always mentioned difficult to
I put a second towel on.
My gosh, Anya, you're like
there are no
Arabia.
your hat's over it.
At this point.
Yeah, other games happening in a moment. As said, GB mixed, taking care of Austria mixed, 15-6. I think Switzerland women have already beat Belgium 15-10, so that is decided. Russia women in the semis as well, beating France 15-6. So all
laying out. Not that I laid out in any of the streamed games, but
no, you did. You tried to lay out D earlier in this one.
Yeah, it was. They were really helpful on the elbows. So I think we got a few of them. I'd completely ruined my elbows at a previous tournament in June. Had a scar on my arm like 3 weeks, I think. So we got the what are they called? The little armbands and taped them on. And then that one was a bit of a longer one. It was supposed to be a full arm sleeve, but that was way too warm to be wearing. So that was our happy medium.
It's not wear your chicken sleeve.
There was the chicken sleeve. It's just inside out.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it would have been too hot with the dark. I wanted the white.
No, dead right. I had my little chicken band on here. I didn't go for the sleeve. I just went for the little one.
And again, it's nice having the knee pads and the armbands on. It like gives you much more confidence in laying out that you're not gonna totally wreck my knees or anything.
Or even just small knee slides or anything.
Yeah.
Just took they absorbed it.
Week-long tournament in particular.
You just don't want to have anything that's going to impact your ability to run or throw or anything.
Even for me, like when passing again, particularly week-long tournaments, like a really bad layout, graze on your arm or leg, really affect your sleep because it's just so hard to sleep when constantly getting caught or you're constantly hitting it against a sheets or whatever.
Shout out to Rory Kavanagh.
So yeah, good thinking on you.
Watching
Good,
the stream.
good use of protection.
So fans from
Accessories.
all over the world tuning in.
I didn't wear my gloves because I thought it would be too many accessories to have.
When they're really just skiving off.
Oh, I just find my hands so sweaty.
Oh, Jane.
Jane.
What's going on?
Oh, their shot to the end zone. It's a great goal. They take a 2-point lead. That is.
That's again good offense, good defense, good offense. Good offense beats good defense.
Strong performance there. Really, really great last attempt layout there by the
Folks
Irish
are thinking
defenders.
deeply about how to pick up the line there.
And almost between the hands.
Emma's lipstick looks great.
Oh yeah.
That is what.
That is yours.
Seeming like there may be smoothing over.
Lulu, is yours all rubbed off or?
Mine got its close up earlier, but I didn't want to say.
I think this is the first time the Finns have a 2-point lead in this game.
It was the lipstick that did it.
Definitely.
It was.
That's all I'm saying.
Lipstick wins games.
4-1 at one stage.
I love then that became part of the spiel that Buggy would give us before. So, you know, if you need to stretch anything else, if you need to drink your water, if you need to put on lipstick, you know, make sure you do it early enough before.
But not too early or else it'll rub off.
True.
Yeah, so there was an optimum time to put it on.
Talking to her D-line there. Talking to them about the offense.
It's kind of a tricky situation for us. I don't actually think we had a comeback win in the season until this point.
Really?
Yeah, we'd always either been up and stayed up, or we were up and lost. We'd up at half time usually. Then either winning or not winning. So yeah, we hadn't actually any experience in this situation.
I think both teams were very similarly nervous and.
Look at that space.
Yeah. So sorry, we switched our offense here to make notice to our Ukraine offense, as I call it. I guess it's based on obviously Anya, one of the primary handlers. We can make her comfortable. It's probably going to be good for her team. But also, if we were just going to throw the disc in vertical lines at the pitch anyway, we might as well play an offense that's suited to that rather than one that wasn't in our 2-5. So that was that was kind of the reason behind doing that. Whereas obviously the players themselves were generally playing great, so you didn't really want to change anything then.
Definitely, and also
I think Jen was sick at this stage as well, and Sinead was also having an excellent game. So it ended up being a quite a good swap, just even of those two people.
Yeah, I forgot Jen at halftime couldn't continue. She was up in the stands at this point. It was lovely to jump in.
Yeah.
She's jumped that one in, or at least ran it in.
Lovely.
Great goal from
You
Anya.
forget that people were sick throughout the week, essentially. One player nearly.
Pretty much a player again,
Yeah.
We weren't sick in the last game, but we're bananas.
We don't have. Be careful if you take caffeine tablets.
Don't take 2.
Don't take 2.
When you don't drink coffee.
Sorry, yeah, Fiona, I feel like I could have taken 3 and been fine, but you don't drink coffee, so I'm taking 2.
I don't take caffeine at all. And then I did that. Yeah.
Still my favourite ever throw. Outside the end zone. They're parallel with Fiona on the back and forth. Sarah cuts into the end zone. Look for the inside. Fiona waits till Sarah gets past her and basically stop cutting and just throws a high release backhand over her defender, over Sarah's defender, putting in front of Sarah.
It was a blade, wasn't it? She threw a
backhand blade.
Backhand blade. No, you can't even throw anything else.
Did she catch it? I can't remember.
No, she didn't catch it.
Yeah, it was really just digesting in the heat was really hard, and then with your food, and you wanted to eat at the right time, and you didn't want to be full or not. I found it really hard during the week. But I have a bad stomach anyway. But I was in bits that whole week. My stomach. But it was just the heat just affects everything as well.
Yeah.
2-point cushion.
I think this is one of the very few D points I play in the.
Yeah, it's a nice pull.
That's it. Cool day wins. You do a good job of it.
Nice one.
Yeah, so just trying, because we hadn't got turns on them in a little while, just trying new things now. So I think this is just a pure FM rather than our hybrid FM that we were playing in the first half. That's kind of hard stuff.
They were shouting in Irish earlier.
Yeah, Cleana's D there is phenomenal.
Resort to English.
He's calling a stall out.
Not sure why.
Oh yeah, Stolitz.
Yeah.
Great position to get turnover in. Middle of the pitch.
Middle.
Yeah.
Hand on heart. Jane.
Jane and Destiny were an interesting matchup. We don't get to see them much in this game, except for now.
How white Jane's legs are.
Same colour as the jersey.
Remember, I had to stream another game in the stadium after this. Not sure.
That was tactical so that she could blind the other players.
Yeah, she's even pulling up the shorts.
Yes. Exposing the skin more.
I have to set a new 500-meter record for getting across this venue.
Oh yeah, I remember like wearing the shorts for the first time. I was like, never seen this much of everyone's legs.
Yeah.
They were so much cooler than like the long kind of heavy ones.
Backhand now. He transitioned, but late.
Final at windmill, unfortunately, he couldn't.
Kalina.
He's not touching you, defense. Not touching.
German side.
Yes, James.
Unable to make the semi-finals. My picks to win the division.
Oh, yeah, it's getting very tense out there. Look at that clump now. That's a good old-fashioned jab above.
The women's division's picks to Ravi if Ireland loses this game.
He keeps the disc.
So all to play for here. Very important match.
With the shine up there.
Yeah, I know.
This is Essie's danger throw.
Get back in this game, but it's Finland who keep their
so much touch on that throw. It's outrageous.
The player is like so slow going up to just like this going to be there all day. So I'm just gonna
follow. Drilling away a little bit as it came to the corner. Perhaps not the exact execution intended, but
10-8 down.
Swept in anyway.
15 minutes to go. A long time to go. Yeah. About like 7, 8 more points.
15 minutes.
Or just one. Really long one.
Ireland will be coming out here again on O. Looking to hold and then needing to follow it up with a break.
Be so hopeful. I'm pretty convinced we lose.
I know.
Don't see any way back here.
Well, yeah, and I don't know how aware I was of the score at the time.
It's so hard to be aware when you're playing.
So normally I'd have some idea. I don't normally keep a strong eye on it though, but timing wouldn't have had a clue. Because as we were saying, like, we didn't even know when it was half time, that it was time half and stuff, because you're so used to the points being pretty in line with normal game times. So I probably thought there was a lot of time left.
Yeah, Finland's zone offense really skews the time of points.
True.
I think I thought this was the longest game of my whole life.
Yeah.
It definitely was the longest game of my whole life.
And I knew exactly what was going on up until the very last point.
What does the Irish team need to do on defense to get a turn from the finish?
But I still remember being quite confident at this point.
What's happening? I was in striking distance, which is good. But 2 breaks down this late in the game is hard. Handy when they break it for offense. Let's make it a little bit.
Keep Westman out of the deep
space.
Spacing Stifle Inkinen's reset cuts. Maybe you'll have a better option. But first, the Ireland team do need to close with a hold here on offense.
Yeah, 3/4 made a big difference. So I've been able to find a compressed to play as much as they could with that FM and poaching lanes, and now they can't. They know every player downfield is really good. Fiona did a great job cutting off Greenland's amazing in-cup there.
What a throw.
Well, except that's the perfect cutting if we're going to do that. That was a great throw. 3rd time lucky, Fiona.
That's what I mean. Just don't lose confidence.
Yeah, way to back yourself.
Yeah, I want you throwing that every single time.
That's a great take by Sarah, though. It wasn't. It wasn't.
Perfect, but we said last couple nights anyway, you don't need to be perfect to win games. Any game told us that. This game, we're definitely not perfect in this game.
It's interesting to see the way Sarah takes that, and she kind of is ready for contact. I don't see her normally put her left arm out like that before it's don't catch it, so she's very determined at that stage to not let the defender just have to send the disc back.
Pretty soon.
I do like how Sarah's gone from in 2015. She's like, yeah, I don't really do celebration, I don't really get it. And every point in this tournament is like, yeah, jumping, and hugging people. I was like,
channeling her inner Grania.
Yeah. No one can celebrate that grounding. Come on.
Oh no.
Here we go.
Strap in, folks.
Why
Why did you not catch that ball?
Nah, I don't know.
Get down there.
Just nerves.
Yeah,
Great ball.
Oh,
Exactly where you want them.
Zone again.
just getting
Yeah,
some
so
nervous again.
amazing. Really good aggression from Michelle and Emma. So really.
Oh yeah. Oh, Emma was very much like, I'm putting on the force. I was like, okay.
I was really
Trying to
scared
use
when I saw
overhead.
that because I was like, oh, I think they might figure this out.
Yeah, it took them that long to figure out the hammers.
Ruh-roh.
I wonder if my pass counter, Dominic Smith, would do me a
But
favor
yeah,
here.
such a strange. But this isn't even like the other points, to be fair. Once it goes on, like it's not like they're being mega conservative like they were earlier. Maybe they shouldn't have started by
Nice
jumping.
Claire. Good cover.
What should have been.
You see, they play though. The colours are so close.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like.
So it's not really. They're not opening up spaces.
Yeah. So they're getting the hammers out, but they're not actually. They're nowhere near them.
They're not gaining from it. Yeah.
It's continuous. It's lucky because it's very hard to recover when you're trying to recover in 30 seconds.
Oh, when she threw the first one, I remember being like, "Oh, we're done."
It's also just Essie's running, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Being that is what their O against a zone looks like. Lots of calm, small passes. The second is they have the time advantage here. If they can wind down the clock, they have the points advantage. You obviously have to close out every game. You can't just keep waiting. But if the count goes on,
they didn't call anything.
Finland's
They played
still
on.
up.
Yeah.
Taking the game.
Cameraman's confused. We're confused.
Oh, good. This is that one, and then there was the Russian game as well. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
She's just so smart.
You can feel the Irish team are
So
starting to believe
smart.
now they can maybe tie up the game here.
And there.
But I don't know why they didn't show the actual play instead of showing the replay of that.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Not a contact. But
That was
very
something
hard
that,
to tell from all the replays. I think what in the world is going on.
It's a bad decision to throw away.
It's a terrible decision to throw away. Two defenders, one Jane. I mean, it's Jane, so that's probably a 50-50.
We can put it up as well. You want to make it.
Yeah, maybe you put it up a bit higher.
Definitely a very small window to try and get that disc into two finished defenders there. Gives a very good opportunity for Finns to get the D, but definitely a lot of contact.
That's probably very similar to Sarah's and Weston earlier.
Yeah.
Tried to catch that disc.
okay.
Oofed.
Yeah, I do remember there being a bit of frustration in
It
the
looks like a
start.
foul, but so hard to tell. Like with three people converging on a single point,
Yeah.
so hard to tell who's creating contact if anyone's illegally creating contact. Like you can have contact and it'd be okay.
Long discussion here as the players all make their points. It's looking very calm and reasonable.
Jane sporting the tucked in jersey.
And, hearing each other's
Oh, that's a look.
I was going to say, Jess, that's your look.
Sonia's here to walk over and tell everyone it's contested. Thanks, Sonia.
Taking their time about chatting through these discussions and these calls.
I think the flipper jerseys are just quite, not the flipper, the look fly jerseys are just quite long. So,
That's so
gotta
hard.
get them out of the way.
Yeah, that camera's too far away and this camera's too low.
Oh,
And it looks like they get their first and very cleanly to me.
Well, Jane's saying if she gets hit in order for the defender to be able to come from behind her, she pushes through her.
That's obviously the break that
Yeah,
they need.
hard
If
to
they
tell.
turn it back over, they'll be really frustrated at throwing away this opportunity.
I think this is one of those situations where I'm saying, let's contest it, we don't know, and they're saying, no, we don't want to. So it's really hard to get the other team. Like if it was me, I just contest it. We don't know, send it back. But again, like we're getting an advantage in that situation. So they didn't really want to contest it because they wanted to try and convince us some more, which is
right. Like you have to.
It's really hard to know what to do in that situation because you can't control what they're going to do. So it's up to them.
Getting a little stronger as this point goes on, so we'll see if that has an effect.
And I had said to Jane, are you going to retract it? And she said no. So there's not much more you can do after that.
Yeah.
So let's go back to.
Yeah, it's always hard, like whatever team you're on, if there's that much contact in any play, and you're trying to get someone to say it's not a foul. It's you're always fighting a hard battle whether technically you're correct or not. If you're hitting someone that hard, it's going to look like a foul. It's don't feel like a foul. But they get their turnover.
But in general, I think that if you watch the replay, so we've watched the replay like what, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times more, and we still don't know whether it's a foul. Like you can't have known in real life. You only saw it once. So I think I'm always a bit vindicated, or like I think it's the correct choice if after a slow-mo replay you still can't tell, and if you contested and sent it back in that situation, it was a 50-50. Just send it back. Like, do you know that way?
Well, I really trust then as well, like the player involved knows what they were expecting and they know what they felt. So we can't really tell where exactly Jane was even hit or at what point she fell over and stuff. But if she's very certain and the defender is very certain, it is really just a contest situation.
On the flip side, this is phenomenal spirit.
Yeah, I actually remember how well spirited she was in this, because I was like, oh my god, it's so close to the end of the game, and like I was being like really sure to like keep my tone, you know, really nice, and she was just like, yeah, she was like, you did say 10.
Yeah, that was amazing. I couldn't believe.
And I like again trying to divorce like the whole like the fact we had battles with Finland previously would be enough reason that you would think this is probably going to be contested, but also just it's a stall head. Last time we saw uncontested stall head, like,
yeah,
I know.
That's got the throw off. So,
yeah, but there's a follow up where she's putting the force on me. She gets revenge.
And I presume that means disc is in when they threw the disc to the ground.
Yeah, we'll assume that's a check, that the disc is now in play, back with the Irish on offense.
Done. Swings to Leahy.
It isn't listening to her counting, and then all of a sudden it was 7, and I was like, oh no!
It kind of remains a
bit of a bailout there.
But I must go back and I wonder, was it? Because I threw it on, I remember throwing it on 9.
Listen,
was it 9?
You're going to head on to another 5 seconds. I don't think there are options coming for you. So you're going to boost it then, or you're going to boost it in a few other seconds. So I think the way we set up there was not the way we want to set up. Everyone's so far away.
That has been a difference.
You did pretty well. Like that's a good throw, you think, in that situation?
Just threw it at Emma.
Emma, it's high.
I don't think we've seen the same from the
Like you're giving her a chance at least to try and make a play. You had a second effort on it. Not the worst all 9 or 7.
Yeah, it was a bit sad. Didn't necessarily want to have the disc with her marking me.
Yeah, as far as in charge, that's definitely something I would have been doing.
Really good marking.
Great.
Double team maybe.
Put him deep in the zone, but where would you need to, Jane? Watching the house.
We want to play fast there. We had a 3v2, but sure.
Yeah, again, it's just our D9 offense.
Yeah.
Confidence at the stage as well.
Yeah.
Timeout being called.
Jane might be a bit nervous as well from
previous
communication earlier.
Could be.
Definitely.
Each team does
And I think probably coming from
at this tournament.
This is kind of the advantage that if you're used to playing offense and you come onto D-line and you've had the disc in your hand a lot more through your hand. So D-line have had so much defense and very little disc through their hands. So no one's probably super confident about having it and playing so quickly or anything. Or maybe one or two people are.
And even like you don't have throughout the line the chemistry that the O-line have.
It's true. Total of 12 timeouts in this very long game.
Well, a chance here anyway. Time is 10-9, 4 minutes to go.
On the sideline.
On the sideline, unfortunately, not where I'd call time out, but probably wasn't happy at the time as well. Don't imagine.
Water sprays.
What are you thinking here, Michelle? You remember her? Just give me water, please.
I think I was so like it was annoying that the points were taking so long, because I just felt like, oh my god, we're getting it off them. Like we just need to be able to flow, like to get it into the end zone. I think I was I was probably more frustrated than anything, because I was like, we can do it. We're just making it so hard for ourselves.
Played frisbee before. We know how to do this.
Yeah.
300% increase in my usual amount.
Try to see where the stack sets up.
The disc. Ireland setting up in a vertical stack. A lot of poaching in the lane for the finish. Oh, maybe I'd like to see the 3-4. It's giving the opportunity for the finish. You see them there setting up in a clam almost around the Irish vertical stack. They're going to need to get a lot of movement to have someone free. And again, they try and isolate.
Lord, where did that stack set up?
Oh,
great stuff from Bugs there.
Yeah.
We were
Pew pew.
Oh my god.
Jane is amazing. Like,
Yeah.
Jane. Amazing.
looks this up. It's a great decision because Messman is working.
She wants the backhand. She wants the backhand. Oh.
She wants it.
Yeah.
They've been struggling on that reset every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Second.
Almost like she just hesitated on it there because she wasn't trying to make extra sure that Dakota's definitely going this time.
Yeah. Because it was that one that, yeah.
Throw seemingly too high for
That one is such. It looked like she was just going to throw this down for a second there, and then she's like, actually, that's so.
2 lines here on the pitch. There's the.
This is a possibility of like, how are you calling these? How are you watching 2 points simultaneously? Especially someone as tall as Bestman's like, I'm going to watch her foot and her this at the exact same time.
You have to.
Someone on the sideline whose only job is to watch that could maybe do it for a reasonable length of time. Not great offense.
Oh, I'm forgetting how stressful this point was.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It was like watching varsity or something again. It's just like both teams are just in utter like panic mode.
Disarray.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was like all of Finland's calm, cool, don't happen, just like evaporated with the first turnover they had.
Both teams letting the excitement, letting the nerves get
I don't know. It's hard to say.
We're not done yet.
Yeah.
There's more.
Is this? Oh, I think I know how this is scored. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Spoilers.
I'm not saying, don't worry. I don't know how the next line came on, and we're so calm or able. I remember on the sideline being like, I can't function right now. This is too much.
Yeah, so this is like one of the weakest in playing these sort of zones. Like poor Emma Downfield is tired.
She's tired.
She cannot make a cut against someone defending her for save her life at that point. Estelle doesn't look much better. So you're kind of trying to play offense with 5 people. Shells is quite tired as well. And it's not like everyone else has been standing around or nothing.
Yeah.
So the longer it gets on, the less likely is that someone's going to manage to score the point.
It's been 100 minutes now.
Yeah. Time's just gone. I was dying for time to go, so I was happy when I was.
Yeah. It's just like trying to make the decisions on what you're actually going to throw or where you're going to run when you do get the turn.
Yeah.
It was actually harder than playing defense.
Yes!
But just how early she is running to the end zone before she accepts that this.
Yeah.
Just the off chance that she does. And to be honest, it's probably the way we were going to score there. But look, she's already on her way.
Yeah. She's just on the ball.
Great footwork.
Yeah.
In the end zone.
I love that shot. So good.
I think just like how determined she was is like even in the highlights it shows it when they just showed like the interception and the throw, but after you watch the whole point I think it just makes it even more of like a take that, like this is our game now, which is just incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are 2 of the most determined people I think I've ever met.
Just like I've said, fair play to Emma here. I was putting Emma straight back on to do the same thing, and she said no. So it's called 2 lines here. I guess people are wondering why people are stepping on and off the line. So I was just going to roll to FSU again. We'll have to be seeing another team turn over 6 times against it. We're going to roll that again. But once Emma couldn't go again, pretty easy. 2 great defenses to call up for the situation basically. Either FSU out again or this line of 7. And it's only she is playing back-to-back points, so fair play.
And Jane.
Jane, so sorry.
I remember talking to Jane about this, and she told me the minute you called out her name, she was like, "Oh fuck!" So gassed. She didn't want to let
it. Oh, warrior! And those two, incredible energy.
I remember like you calling me on for it, and I was like, we're playing defense, right? Like, why are you calling me on a universe point, D-line? Yeah.
First D point of the season, maybe. But again, like tight game where it wasn't just like we were 6 points up, so I was just rotating everyone on.
The scores, yes.
People go mad when I do that sort of thing. We never did this. It's like, yeah, you can play frisbee.
Yeah.
You're grand. Just gotta run after someone and stop them.
Straight up, match defense from Finland. Very flat force from Kelly
This
Hyland.
is just such good defense.
Yeah.
Such good throwing as well. Like,
She's been
throw it backwards and I'm presumably stall 8 or 9 to someone who's marked that divey. Phenomenal throwing skill.
Equally matched by the
unbelievable effort from Jane in the lane. Kelly, close. Get it.
Gets up so quick.
And this is 10-all, isn't it?
It's 10-all, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what confused me. I would think I was the only one who didn't know that it was universe. I was just dying on the sideline.
I was standing by the fence on the other side of the pitch. I couldn't watch.
Oh, really?
Jogging back and forth from the sideline to the fence.
Because I was actually finding it fine to watch because I didn't realise what was going on.
Oh no, myself and Heather were just...
Yeah, it was Shinus that eventually told me. I was like,
yeah, I've never been as nervous in my life, I think.
I'm so nervous now.
Me too.
And we got it back.
The sideline, I remember in this point though in particular, I think had about 2 voices. It was fantastic.
The World Championships were actually held in Finland.
This is the first time Ireland had ever made a quarterfinal in Euros or in women's. So I really liked that we weren't like resting on that as if that was an achievement.
Oh God, we would have been devastated.
Yeah, I think we'd lost the quarter in Windmill. And I think Gravity had lost a few quarters in Windmill before, and I think I was like, I do not want to come 7th again. Like,
yeah.
We came 8 one of those years.
Oh yeah,
we did come 8th, yeah,
or whatever. Like, I don't want to
7-8 game at Windmill.
I don't want to be at the 7-8 game again.
7-8 game.
Oh yes, Jane!
And then immediately,
Jane said to me, she was like, I don't know why they poached off Anya here. Like, it just gives me such an easy reset, and I just got out.
They just like, thank God you were there.
Oh, Anya. Insane.
That was so fun.
An inside break, and then touch.
Oh,
being called.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Nicely by the sideline.
By the sideline. I'm just, I can't.
Please, I call that timeout.
Reiterate.
Please acknowledge that call the timeout.
Yeah.
My heart is pounding.
I think we're checking we have one. Everyone was so confused about everything.
Yeah. We have one.
We had one.
Yeah,
like it's been 100 minutes. Who knows?
Yeah, we take one of the previous point.
Points, I mean.
No, the players agreeing that it is a timeout.
Here we go.
Oh, Jane.
Imagine the stress of adding 2 to the stall at that moment.
And I was just like, I need to give you a hug.
She's gonna collapse.
What's everyone thinking during this time?
Like, here's take my towel.
I have no idea taking that time out. I have no recollection of that.
Do you know?
Yeah, I don't remember this either.
Yeah.
Where am I?
I
might be able to remember.
I'm just like, what the hell do I call for a sideline play? Thanks, Anya. We don't really practice plays in the sideline.
I think I was really happy that my girl didn't desk at all during that point. And I was like, okay, I did my defense.
I don't know. I think my plan was probably just pass to try and get it to Lulu straight away.
Might end up with a penalty shootout, who knows?
Call that. I think we just have a centre and play from there rather than trying to run a play. So I presume you're on at least, like, say they won countdown, you come in and I think over to assault 2 there, like.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we had time to have a cut and then have a reset because
Finland.
It was just going to be too hectic then.
Last two matchups, but it's Ireland with the disc now on Universe Point.
And Ireland will definitely be buoyed up by the break that they just got to take it to Universe Point. Coming out on defense on Universe is always hard, but it does mean that you've been the team to bring it there. So you have the momentum. But
actually can get in the semi-finals here. We just score.
Yeah.
And look at the players we have on the pitch. All they have to do is score. That's all they have to do. I've seen them do this so many times. All they have to do is just score. Just not make a mistake. That's all they have to do. It's going through my brain the entire time.
Sarah, Melvin, Fiona, Myrna, Jane Lennon.
Horrible feeling on sideline.
Coming out in a horizontal stack now. Haven't seen too much of that. See a set play. Vestman up against Sarah.
What are you thinking there, Anya?
Near sideline.
Maybe I can just launch it to Sarah.
And they post off Lulu, thank God.
Zoom out, I want to see the full picture.
Yeah, this is a silly.
I remember actually really happy with that. This camera work at the time when I watched it that evening because I was like, I did call a play there, which I would definitely call again in the same situation. But you can't see what it is. I don't know what it was.
Why would they not pull back?
Why have we not zoomed out?
Yeah, why would they not pull back?
Attention,
now?
Oh,
well, they're zooming in.
So you can try to see the chickens.
Climactic point. Boyd.
Oof. The fakes. This is great audio. I like that.
I love
like that in that situation. It's massive. Fiona causes a pick very clumsily.
Yeah.
Pick is called.
But at this point, I start feeling a little bit better.
Like, I think I feel great at this stage. I'm like, okay, I can throw a frisbee, throw up the field.
You can still run.
They're not doing anything fancy. They're poaching off the handler, just a pre-reset. Everything is fine.
Yeah,
we're getting close enough that we can isolate people. We can just say, Sarah, if you want to do your thing.
and you don't have to conserve any energy because you know this is the last point.
Look at that.
Last up to date.
From Sarah, like speed. One of the fastest sprints of her life. And then the cut again, Anya. You had to scroll roller skates.
Anya up the line, just short of the end zone.
I was so sad that wasn't in.
Yeah.
I know.
Like a little thing Fiona there, which is not some cutters always in a situation where you see us get into trouble a lot, where she makes that like into the corner cut, and she actually cuts away, like looking for a leading pass from Anya. And so often I find that we cut back inside, and then the reset's nowhere to go, and then we get into trouble. So, and you normally don't do that.
Yeah. So something happens. I don't know.
Very happy you did it in that situation.
Yeah.
All right.
But I loved at this point. I had a lot of fun.
I think I got a big burst of energy here, and I was just like, we're running this in. I was in no hurry to score a goal.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, and I was going to score it, and she took me off.
You looked so happy when you fell.
I was so annoyed.
Your defender was like, not for the third time.
At all costs.
Fake though, Fiona, your wee dink was fantastic.
Yeah.
So good.
This throw.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and there she
Trying to get it in there, Egg.
Yeah.
And it's a goal.
Not just the version.
That was amazing.
So, what are you feeling here, Jessica?
Oh, absolutely delighted. I love my teammates.
I love my skin-colored boots.
I love my flesh boots.
Flesh boots.
I love my lipstick.
This quarterfinal. I'm gonna let you
no, absolute phenomenal work. I just couldn't believe, like, they've been such intense, like, 2-3 points, and how they've come out there with such composure, and I was able to just grind it out. I was like, oh my god, this is
replication of what happened the first time this
They're
team met
amazing.
Universe Point, but this time it's
so overwhelmed at this stage. I don't know. I just started organising where people would go, so I didn't have to think about the fact we just won. You see me and like telling people like, get off the pitch, go here, you gotta do this. Like, couldn't deal with emotions for
we're like,
the point because they would give me a vote in like a minute, I can't deal with any emotions.
Wouldn't be like you.
So it goes wrong, I was like, no, do your spirit thing.
through to the next round. Huge congratulations to Ireland. And from this
so
pitch,
good.
we've got another game coming right up, so stay tuned. Thanks for being with us.
Hello.
Like I said, after the first Finland game, if we have the disc on the goal line, chance to win, we'll score that 99 times out of 100. We didn't manage to in the first game, but it's basically the exact same situation except on the list instead of Fiona. Sarah's going from a different angle.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
The lefty pop and everything.
Yeah.
I love that. Throw the score and just walk off.
I'm done.
I actually think I might have been in, but I was just like, I'm not having another discussion. I am throwing it.
Yeah.
Definitely in. So I can't deal with any of this. I'll just hear Sarah. You can have it.
That explains kind of. Yeah, you're really like almost like I know it's gonna be a goal. It's just karma. Like that was supposed to be a goal, so I'm just throw it to Sarah.
Yeah.
Well, it's obviously me and Buggy don't go into your huddle selector, but what was said in that huddle after the game?
Oh yeah, so that was very, very, very stressful. So Sarah said she couldn't come to the huddle. She was, I don't know why, but basically I had to do the spirit speech, which it was probably good that she like gave it to me at the last minute that I couldn't like think about it too much, but basically they talked for a while and I was trying to like, think of something to say because it's really hard to make a speech. I haven't made that many speeches after games where, you like, obviously the other team are so devastated and you are delighted. And I've never made a speech like that before, I don't think. So I was trying to think of what to say and they made their speech and I think they said something about the fouls or the discussions or something, I can't really remember. And I was like, oh, well, thanks for the game. I've like, honestly was like, I've watched the 2015 final, like, I go to a few times and I was like the throws you were throwing in that game were just inspirational, really. Like I just loved them. So like thanks for playing such a good game there and thanks for all the games you played against us this season. I'm sorry there were some disagreements in the games on some of the calls, but I think they were all like quite respectful and stuff. And then one of their players just interrupted me and kind of talked for like probably 2 minutes about how we had been fouling them and being hypocritical, I think. I can't remember. And I was so happy to let her talk because I didn't know what I was going to say. And I was like, this is so great just because I'm not going to interrupt you back. I'm just going to let you talk. And then eventually I think her players kind of got her to stop speaking and they came back to me and I was like, thanks for the game. Good luck in the rest of your games. We were just like finished. I was like, I can't talk to them anymore. I was just like, no way.
She had just repeated the exact same. I remember, like, she just repeated the exact same thing that the first scorer had said as well. So it wasn't like she was presenting new information. You would just be like, oh, okay, I hear your point, but like this is what we felt. And then it was like again another call where she was trying to convince you.
Do I remember what they did after the game?
Individually?
Yeah.
No.
I know we were kind of all eventually moseyed over to the boys that I think were playing the game. We eventually migrated over there. I just remember hugging everybody.
Oh, we took about 100 pictures.
We took our pictures. Yeah, our like Frenchy player pictures.
Yeah.
Don't remember.
Yeah. I got a real picture of you too.
Oh yeah.
It has that as her profile picture.
I think I remember you talking to Fiona, Ian, and you telling her, you're like, don't tell anybody, but you're my favorite person on the team.
Oh, that is so cute.
He is.
Oh.
That's adorable. You guys.
Favorites. Right.
I think I went over to Jane. I was like, "You won us the game." It was like that D was amazing.
So good.
Just wasn't sure how we were going to generate the D before that, so it was fantastic.
They were, that last point, I felt they were so tentative and they really didn't want to, play how they had come out at the start of the game. They really didn't want to go guns blazing. They were so conservative. And then taking on that hook option, Jane just completely mopped it up. It was fantastic.